Hey, welcome back, everybody. MiniWorks Matt here, and today I'm with the legend himself, Ronnie Renton. Hello, Ronnie. What's going on?
Ronnie, hi, how are you? That's
I'm good.
saying that intro. Gets longer every time I come on. I think it just shows how many games we're getting out right now.
Right. You have a few, and especially this fourth edition that's coming out. Like, my goodness, have you rested?
Yeah, no, not none of the team have. We had a kind of steady start to the year, and I'm thinking, okay, this is all right, and then we realised we should have done some things then because now we're doing them all now. So yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Right, and
But
that's
continue
exactly
busy. Better be
we're
too
here.
busy than the other way. That's never good news. So
Right. Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. Is fourth edition. My goodness, you slammed a hammer on Kings of War this year on all of us. They're pretty
yeah,
beautiful
well, I
models.
think people were ready for it. I think it was time. I
Mhm.
think we've had a good run. It got that mid edition bump because of the pandemic. The pandemic meant
Right.
that 2020 there was no gaming. There wasn't really any in 2021. We'd done some ourselves, but we didn't have the tournament scene, so it felt a bit early to do a full new edition in 2023. But it did feel like we needed to put a book out that brought all the Clash of Kings together and everything else. So you're back to one book,
Right.
which actually was very popular. And then, as always, as an edition starts getting a bit older, a bit tireder, a bit more open to filthy army lists, it becomes time to press the reset button and have a run at it.
Right. Exactly. And one of the things that I was saying, especially with third edition, I noticed like a lot of the armies had a lot of like Alessios has talked about before. I guess it's Alessio or Matt, one of those two wonderful men, talked about how the lists were having repeat things throughout them, and they didn't have their own feel sometimes. So when you did the fourth edition, you're making the armies a little bit more flavorful
Yeah,
toward
correct.
them,
It
different
does
units.
happen over the course of an edition. You tweak this, you tweak that, you tweak the other, and you end up losing some character. And that's the time that the new edition is the time you have to really go back to the roots and you get to go, well, okay, if we give them that, what can we give them? And we give them that, but you can give them the thing that feels very characterful.
Right.
Um, and then over the course of an edition, oh, well, they've got this, hey, we've launched this new army or this new unit. How do they counter that? Oh, they haven't got a counter to it. Oh, give them this. And it becomes you get some bolt ons. And actually, when you get to go back to all the armies and look at them all at the same time, you actually get to press the reset button. But that's when you can put really characterful stuff in Headstrong for dwarves, vicious and lethal and elite and all those keywords. But you can take everybody's kind of plus one or just take it back. Let's go back to the basics and then let's start it over again.
Right.
Because without doing the changes during the edition, you can't play the same game for 5 years. So you need to tweak it and you need to keep it fresh and keep releasing new models and new units and new armies. But inevitably, you've taken this beautiful thing that's all been balanced, and then you add something here and add something there and add a bit here, and it becomes a house that's built on, with bolt-ons and extensions. And occasionally you say, you know what, not flatten the whole thing, but let's go back to the basics of the structure and then design the game we want to have. It's still moving, it's still shooting, it's still Kings of War, but it's a clean, balanced, new starting point.
Right. And you guys have the luxury of seeing tournaments and Clash of Kings and getting feedback from lots of people, of course, who play the game.
We also have the app now. Don't forget.
Right.
So one of the joys we've had 25,000 army lists built on that app.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
so when people say, "Oh my God, my Ratkin slave army it's going to get destroyed," you go, "There's only 7 armies been built in the world, and that unit's never been taken ever once, not at all." So we don't often come out and say it, but we can call bullshit when we know bullshit when it's being talked because we've got the stats.
Right. And you got that data. And that's what's wonderful about it too. And not just listening. You listen to, and that's one of the one things I love about Mantic. You guys listen to us. You listen to the gamers. You listen to the guys who play things. And a lot of them freak out when things change, and
Well, it's a funny thing, I absolutely think we need this, and Kings of War 4, but for God's sake, don't change anything. So come on, where are we here? And I think what they want to hear, what people want to hear, given is we respect the things that we all hold dear about the game. And I was at Michigan GT, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. We got two good players that had never played fourth, and we got them to bring their armies up with them. They were Mantic armies, so we knew what the units were and everything else. And we had a Mantic open night there, and in public. And I built my dwarf army in fourth edition once, and then I obviously left it at home, so I built it again. But it was only 24 hours later, so I could remember the decisions I'd made. But I did it without any help. They gave me the page, and they gave me the army list. And it's old school. It's not built in the app yet. This is printed, on a Word document.
Right.
And they said, go build an army. You're going to play Alessio, 1,500 points. You're both hopeless players. So see if you can work it out. And does it? And I was testing, does it still feel Kings of War to a casual player like me? I'm not a competitive player.
Right.
I would rather have a 10,000 point battle and take all day and get a few rules wrong than 3 games of 2,300 points, and I'd get my ass handed to me. Anyway, that wasn't the point. And this guy had a dwarf army, so he brought it up, and I said, right, let's work this out together. And in front of 25 people, we built a 1,500 point army. I said, right, you pick the unit. That's what it is. There we are. They did the same on the other side. And then we started playing. We set one turn in up, and then we started playing. And Kyle would occasionally go, now that's changed. It works like this, not like that. And they go, okay. Oh, yeah, that feels better. Oh, I can understand why that is. And around the room, these were all of the Kings of War players, lots of the Kings of War players that were playing a tournament that weekend, 18, 24 of them. And, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's different. Okay, I like that. And guess what? We were playing Kings of War. We were rolling dice. Everything felt like it should. And they'd gone from never having seen it, never seeing a manuscript, to playing it with 2 armies built on the new format with, an idiot like me helping one of them put the army together. So it was great. It was really good. And I think that's when people go, sorry, Troy. It was a really great Michigan GT, the best Michigan GT ever.
I love the fact that Kings of War takes the data. Will Mantic start to do that with Dead Zone, Firefight, Epic Warpath, and Halo?
Yeah, we already do. We're already using that, and that's one of the reasons why we encourage people. Hey, army lists are free, partly because use the tournament, organized play packs. We can also, like with Halo right now, whoever, I think it's only a few weeks away. If you are the number 1 ranked player at the end of season 0, which is what we're in season 0 at the moment because Banished came out during ODST just after it. If you're number 1 at the end of season 0, you are ranked highest at this exact point in time. We are going to sculpt your head and stick it on top of a Spartan.
That's brilliant.
And we're going to print it out 2 up or 3 up. We're going to send it to you. We're going to build one, spray it gold, and send you that one with you won season 0. And we're going to send you one in kit form so you can build it and paint it yourself. Awesome. And what a cool prize. Now, it's going to get more traction as time goes on. Season 1 then begins on the 1st of November with all the updates. Away we go. And who's going to win season 1? 6 months later, someone's going to get that prize again.
That's awesome.
And this is the joy of us having this fantastic app.
Right.
You can build your army list. We get the data, great. More importantly, we can use that to reward and celebrate all the fantastic things that are going on any given game. Last year we had that sci-fi summer, Firefight and Dead Zone. We didn't have Epic at the time. We had that great big release. Everyone was playing it. We just want to do, like Kings of War, we've got so many of those planned coming up in the next 4 years for massive events where, either these get wiped out or they don't. This guy dies or he doesn't. His army dies or he doesn't. And he's going to be, if he's dead, he's written out and we're starting to build all these stories up. The champions are all going to grow from beginner level heroes as they are They're all coming to Kings of War now, but they are central players in the Kings of War story. But not all of them are going to make it out alive. And we may well leave some of those decisions about who lives and who dies to the gaming community.
That's
If
awesome.
this area falls, that army gets wiped out, that guy dies, his army gets massacred, and that's it. Like we did with the Abyss, where that got bigger, where we did with Help's Rift, where the consequences of that came out. We're really leaning into that.
That's awesome. You want to talk a little bit about the rules of fourth edition that changed, that were really big, really small, or any let's say sticky combat rather than backing up?
I think what happened was Alessio Cavatore has been writing rules now for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's as accomplished as anybody in terms of war games rules writing. He's done 40k, he's done Warhammer, he's done Kings of War, he's done Bolt Action, he's done Lord of the Rings, he's worked with Rick Priestley. So, we are very, very excited and what he wrote the original version. So it's great for him to come back 10 years later
Right.
and go, where's it varied from, the original idea? I mean, it's a hell of a lot bigger than it was. It was on 8 pages when we first wrote it, and there was 4 army lists, But where have we put rule on rule on rule on rule to balance the rule that balances the rule to balance the rule? Where can we go back and say, this is what we wanted to say? And that's what Alessio is very, very good at. He's brilliant minimalist, and he takes things back and saying, well, what are the the whole point with fantasy is getting units to run away. And that's when you break your line, when you're standing there stabbing someone at the front, and instead of your mate behind you kind of hitting them over the top or putting a shield to protect you, he starts looking to the side and to the back. You start thinking, what the fuck's going on? Well, that's nerve, And
Mm-hmm.
when he starts having to fight over there and he starts falling to the ground, you go, oh, fuck this, I'm out here,
Right.
That's why. So that's what we adapted in the rules. Flank attacks and rear attacks are devastating because when you start, and so Alessio and I both come from rules writing the same way, which is what do we think would happen on a battlefield when that spell happens? Does it make all of those guys fall over and die? No, rarely do you see cannon fire or a fireball wiping out a whole unit. Even in Lord of the Rings, when the archers are coming in, one guy falls, another guy falls. Yes, they're damaging it, they're weakening it, but it doesn't cause them to run very rarely. You then get to the melee stage and fight. The whole point of bow fire is to thin them out before they get there and soften them up. And that's one of the rules that's been reflected.
Right. The no nerve test now for shooting. Everybody freaked out about.
You can be disorientated. This is where you've taken so much fire that your champion's going around going, lads, get back into formation. Come on, let's form up. Let's form up. You're weak. Your mate's formed. Your mate on your left, your mate on the right. They are dead, but there's still a core of a unit. So you need someone to come in and smash through it. Now, a cavalry unit can come smash and keep on it. There's things you can do, but essentially, it's better to be still on the. You pull them together. And then you go, like, look, lads, come on, there's a flank attack there. Let's pile into them. Okay, let's go. And suddenly they become a fighting unit again.
Right.
And this is what's great is we're just going to keep that flow, that ebb and flow, that leadership test to keep them there. And part of the whole thing, So
Right.
and the joy of a game is if you know the basics, you'll know how to move, you'll know how to fight, you'll know how to shoot, you know what a nerve test is. But now you don't quite know in any given situation how it's going to turn out. And I think the joy of a game, the best game, is the first 18 months. Because here's what happens. You start turning up, and that army that you're used to fighting that your mates painted and got, fights slightly different. Yours fights slightly different. So you've got to use yours in a slightly different way. He's going to do things to you that you've not seen.
Right.
After 2 years, you start going, okay, I've kind of seen what a dwarf army does. I know how to beat it. Oh, I've not fought against one with 2 Brock Rider regiments before, and I've not fought, but I kind of roughly know what it's going to do, and I know how to kind of beat it. And I think that's why the first 18 months is a puzzle. We play games because we like puzzles, And
Right.
playing a different army is a different puzzle. We're playing a different army when you don't quite know your army and they don't quite know their army. It's kind of even more fun.
Oh yeah, that's like when I play Champions and I get a new one of these boxes painted up. It's the same thing. It's
I
like,
know
wow,
the
look at these
rules, but
goblins,
I don't know how to play it. That's the
Right.
joy. I'm
Mhm.
experimenting. I'm learning. Oh, that went well. Oh, I could have done that better. Right, next, let's play again. And
Mhm.
that's the replayability. That's the fun. And the whole point of, essentially we play chess or backgammon,
Mhm.
but instead of setting up exactly the same on exactly the same pitch, we actually allow you to pick your own army. We allow you to pick the terrain you play on. And
Right.
therefore, and we allow you to have different things that do different things. So, but essentially we're playing backgammon.
Right. Pretty much. I love the movement about it. My son's never played a war game before. He played Kings of War first, and he played Halo with me
Straight in at the
now.
deep end.
What's that?
I said straight in at the deep end. I mean, you don't start
Yeah,
with Halo or anything and build up. It's like straight into Kings of War. Let's go.
that's right. He's played several games of Champions, and he loves it. So, and I asked him what he liked about it over Halo or what he liked about it over Dead Zone, and he said he likes the movement aspect,
Yeah.
being able to deploy your troops in the right space and get them where they need to go in the right way, turning, trying to figure that puzzle out was his favorite part, and same as mine. We've got a lot of people commenting, so we were going to get to.
Yeah, I'm just replying to some of them now.
Oh, excellent.
And Darhun is the Spanish community is quite excited about Kings of War 4th. Great. Second Champions box. Don't know. Maybe. I mean, certainly the joy of new plastics means we can go back and look at giving you a different spin on a new hero, a new thing. Now, we've just released the Trident one. We did it last almost, well, because we knew 4th was coming and we thought it segued nicely into the 4th release. And, if we get rid of Splash now, half the people will be very happy and half will be very upset. So, Cousin currently isn't plans for a second Trident Champions box yet, but that doesn't mean we might not.
Well,
I
Axel is
really
so
like the
great.
idea of creating different champions who fight in a different way within the same army. Because actually, a Trident army with pachyderms and depth horrors is going to be very different than one with naiads and
Right.
frogs on frogs with frog action.
All that flying.
Yeah.
Big changes to the 50 mil bases, small changes to 40 mil bases.
Yeah, and I think you'll enjoy it. I played it the other week, and the reason we've not told anything the exact specific base sizes is partly you they're all roughly what you expect, but sometimes there's some that aren't exactly the way they've gone because we've tweaked the unit or anything. And I'd hate someone to rebase their army, their hero, and then find out they've rebased it wrong because that would piss you off. So just wait till the book comes out,
Right.
do your army then. We've also got these cool adapters. I had them bloody in my hand to show people. I left them in the office to show you, but it's a nice 40 mil base. It's got exactly a 20 mil square divot in the middle. You set your figure in it, you paint it up, you add a bit of thingy, done. So it's a really nice. If you haven't seen them, you
I
can.
could
I can
pop
see
them
if I
up
can.
here.
Yeah, see if I can find them on the.
I got them on the website here.
Yeah, they
There
are
they are.
lovely. They're a very easy thing to just um, adapt your. I've got 5 or 6 champions in my army, and I just want to get one pack of these. Sit down one morning, 3 hours later, they're all rebased. So they're very, very useful. But of course, you can just go and get yourself some MDF bases and model them in, particularly if you've got very ornate. But actually, the nice thing about this is not too much detail on the extra bit, but it saves you a whole lot of leveling them up. The hard bit is getting the other stuff up to the same level as you're at.
Right. And these are it right here.
You got them. Yeah, there we
25
are.
mil to 40.
Yeah. And then there's
And
a
I got
20 mil to 40. And you just pop it in. And what that does is the hard, boring work, which is leveling the base up to the same level as your bases. And then those other ones are the new regiment bases, which are also very, very nice. So we're not overly detailed that. What we're trying to do is get rid of the fucking ball ache bit, excuse my French,
Oh, you're
of
good.
milli putting up. Now these are very nice. So these are exactly the right size for your unit. They do troops up to regiments, up to hordes. And then those little Lego type pieces at the back, the big 4x4 would go in the middle of a horde. So it's got one on each corner. You glue these in, and then the single pieces go in the cavities. Does it have a picture of the backside of them?
Let's
No,
see.
probably
Doesn't
doesn't. But
doesn't look like.
essentially, in the corners and in the middle of these, there is a little receiver for one of those Lego pieces. So the piece in the middle, you put a double in it, and it joins two troops together. Do you understand? And then the singles go in the corner, so you haven't got a little bit missing off the edge.
Yeah, so it kind of lines it up. Oh, I see. There's little gaps right here.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
singles go in the gaps, so that you
And
don't
then,
have a gap when you make your regiment.
oh,
The gap
okay.
in the middle there, you take one of those double ones, the two pieces. One piece goes on the back piece, one goes on the front piece, and you put one of those, you know, all the, in each of those three slots. Where they join, you get three joining pieces, glue them together, and now you've got.
That's absolutely brilliant.
And then you've got, if you want to get a horde, you put the four one in the middle of where all four join,
Right.
like those five states come together, and then you put the doubles along the rest, and in the outer corners you use the singles so that you're not missing a piece.
Ronnie, this is brilliant. This is really brilliant. I didn't even know that's what they did. I just
There
thought
we
they were
go.
regular troop spaces. So my goodness, that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
just think
even
about all those things. That's a nice thing, is having no one coming at it. Help people do it. That's a cavalry one. So you put your cavalry piece right in the middle, and there they are either side. It's the right level. If you've got a little bit of flock on top, you can just flock it straight in. If you've got some leaves on top, you leaf it straight in. But all straight away, the hard work bit of getting the levels level, you're three quarters of the way there, or you're already there.
that's
You've built yours up, but it just takes away a whole load. If you imagine an MDF piece under there, those two
mhm.
pieces on the side, you've now got to get from a flat piece of MDF, and you've got to get 3 mil up on both sides, and then it'll all be curved, done for you. Pop your figure in, add your flock on top, where you go.
And this is just absolutely gorgeous. I love the new mat, the
Yeah,
jungle
it's
mat.
nice, and a little bit of sea because the Zikali are also coming in and into the jungle. So that's Zikali Trident Realm themed, which is where the two-player sets featuring
Awesome. Just awesome.
and all
Got a
that.
lot of comments here. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
Alessio,
get my
Return of the King to Kings of War, exactly. Tail King Shooters new elf models coming sooner or later. Bang in the middle. Um, yeah, they. I think we've talked about the titles of the books. Let me give you a little snippet here. And let me see. It was Kyle told me.
Yeah, I just got elves too, and I just built a bunch of dwarves. I built up a whole bunch of dwarves.
Yeah, well, and those are now 15 years old. Some of those molds, and they've run their course. And we like them, but occasionally, every so often, you have to come back and start looking
Rock
at
Riders.
new things. But the books. So now the point of the books is it's a deep dive into that story and those armies. One of the things in the past is, here's a load of army lists. There's one page about what dwarfs are, and then we wonder why our game doesn't have a lot of IP. Because actually you've got 150 pages of army lists, and you're just looking at the army lists. So we've taken each book, and it's going to do two things. It's going to talk about what's happening in Panithor. So invasion is the Zikali. They're coming 3 claws, one from the south, one through the middle, one through the north. They're smashing into these, and they're smashing into the salamanders. They're smashing into the trident realms. They're smashing into the halflings, and they're smashing into ogres. No, the next book. Is that 4? Salamanders, Trident Realm, Zikali, and Zikali are coming. Yeah, okay. And halflings. So, they are crunching into them. So we're going to look at who are the Zikali. What are they about? Who's running their armies? Why are they coming? Why are they doing it? And they're doing it because they don't believe that the Western powers can be trusted with magic. So they're coming to take it off them and seal and close down Halpi's Rift, to shut the magic down. So they just don't believe to be trusted. So, and then each book, and then we're going to talk about the halflings, and they're coming up to the fore. It's a great opportunity to look at them and talk about them. for the Trident Realms. Here's who they are. Here's what they're about, and show pictures and armies and how their fighting style is and tactics, and really deep dive on these armies. And this way, but they're not codexes, and it's not all about the army list. It's actually about the world and the army and the theme and the thematics.
Right.
And it's a deep, and then each time the world will move on, and things will happen, and people will die, and that'll get updated, and we'll play a summer campaign, and then in the following book, the outcome of that campaign was this. So now the map looks like that, and people will be able to start tracking and charting the differences that's coming. Invasion, book 1. Fracture, book 2. Arrogance, book 3. Ruination, book 4. Alliance, book 5. Death, book 6.
That's Mr. Bonehead Fantasy or Bonehead Podcast. He typed it out there before he got it up there.
Oh, Bonehead, I think I'm coming on to speak to you in a few weeks, aren't I? I think Dan's setting up. I'm in Essen next week. Oh, he's got it. What do I know? There you go. He's already on it.
Super excited.
Football, and a bit of Dreadball, a bit of King's War. So poor Hartford, they're going to get smashed. Summer campaign's great fun, and that's how the story actually really develops. A lot of people remember Jarvis, remember Palpy's Rift, and these are great fun. They're really good fun, and we know we do genuinely. That's where the Brotherhood got wiped out. Dwarfs, yeah, a bit later than book 2.
Hopefully,
yeah.
Bonehead wants them just like me. Bonehead's Tabletop Fantasy. It's a great channel, guys. If you haven't checked it out, he does a deep dive as well. Poor halflings. I got halflings. That's actually the army I'm going to be working on for 4th next to the Zerk. So what else?
Yeah, Kudos, good idea.
I like what I read about the rules. My concern comes when the lists merge and we experience some bumps, which is expected. What's the plan to keep the list tuned with the rules as you get feedback?
Obviously, we'll tie those in with these books. So as the books come out, we'll update. There'll be a page or 2 of any balances, and we'll just time them to that. So as the book comes, that's when the update gets. And so, if you are a casual player and you buy the 4th edition rule book and you've got a dwarf army and you play occasionally, you play twice a year, you go to an event and you play, you go, you know what, you just go along to the app, which will always be up to date. You build your army, it'll make sure it's legal, it won't let you enter it if it isn't. Tap, 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 totally free of charge, submitted to your tournament organizer, done. So, if you're a casual player and you're not interested in the story, you just want to play Kings of War once a year with your mates at this event, buy the book, then you've got all the keywords, you can read it, you can understand it, you'll play a few games. And then, one of the charms of our games is we want people to play whenever they want to play.
Right.
If you're at the other end of the scale and you are flying around America with an army under your box, and you're going to 2 tournaments a month, and you've got 5 different armies, and you're play testing each different one and tweaking it and painting it, and you want to be competitive, it probably makes sense to buy a subscription. It's $4 a month for a Kings of War subscription, so $50 a year. The rules will be bang up to date. You can save as many army lists as you want. The new keywords will be there in the living rule book, so when you're checking a rule because you're thinking, tap, tap, bung, off it comes. And you've got one, you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your tablet, and everything's there, everything's saved. 100 army lists, yeah, no problem. Save them on the servers. They'll be there, download them. All the stats are in it, you're playing different ones. Hey, I'm going to print one off for you, and here's one for me. I'm taking it out to a tournament. I don't need to be carrying around a big, heavy rule book. And if you want to buy the PDF just to stay in and read all that stuff, but you live in Argentina, we've had some from Argentina, we have some from Chile. And sometimes getting the books down to them can be hard. All right, here's a PDF. Download it, read it, look at all the pictures, look at it on your tablet. It's going to look fantastic. You've got all the rules, and then you can apply. So we're trying to make it that however you want to do it, whatever's most convenient for you, we're there for you. Here's the new edition. Are you a hardcore gamer that wants to be on top of the rules all the time, or just doesn't want to be lugging the rule book around? Okay, it's a couple of quid a month.
Right.
And you've got everything all the time.
I know
through
us.
to the PDF that I just want to, hey, I just want to buy the PDF one. I don't want the collection, through to the hardcore collector like me, who, up on my shelves back there, you can't see, I've got every series. Here's my comics. Here's my, where's my Walking Dead? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but, there's my Walking Dead collection. So there's my Walking Dead collector's edition Kickstarter. There is all the Walking Dead comics, because why wouldn't you? Because that's what we love doing. So, my painted minis are over there in my cabinet. And so, however you want to do it, just come join us, come play with us. We're welcome to, we just want to welcome people into playing a hobby and playing a game.
I know around here we use the app like to play every game. There's tablets and phones.
It gets better all the time. All the time. And we're doing a whole load of improvements. We did a Halo upgrade earlier this year, which taught us a load of new things, which will get rolled into Dead Zone. We're constantly improving it, and it works full time on it. I think from day one, I think the core was very good. I think the tournament wasn't good enough and just always kept crashing. And we kept trying to update for Kings of War, Clash of Kings, which is the biggest tournament in the world, with the blackjack scoring system, and it crashed. Now, we just ran it this year with 200 players, and it was flawless. So, that's no mean feat, with different phones from different countries, all on different systems, and setting the signals up, and each time you go, this traps. So, but for a casual player, it's an absolute gold mine.
Right. It's wonderful. We meet twice a week or every other week here, and then every other week at the store, and that's 99% of what we use.
No,
no,
little gentle smoke behind you. I thought.
No. Are the new battalion and battle group boxes with the new plastic bases?
Yeah, I think everything we're going to start sending out, as we can transfer it over, as long as it's the right size, then yeah, I think very much all the new ones definitely come with these new bases, so you can build your army as you need to do it. I'm going to double check. I think so. I think that's certainly planned. It's whether we've got them in time to repack them, but yes, I think so. And it's a good question, and I'll get it confirmed.
Bonehead says new base sizes for champions can only mean the whole new armies. Surely, that's what we're hoping. The plastic multi bases are very, very clever. Those pedestals are wonderful. I guess we're going back here. Pre-painted and pre-painted plastic regiment bases. Now that Archon can do that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, they've got this painting thing. Possible. I mean, I think it's such a personal thing. I think it's, particularly in Kings of War, it's such a big theme of your army that I'm not sure we want to. I'm not sure we're quite ready to go there. We do have one more big surprise for the battlefield that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. But yeah, at the moment, the bases they're not, because you still, I think it's where you really add character to your army.
Right.
It's where you really add.
That's where I have the most fun when I'm.
And I think you use faces and bases. And in ours, you're not painting a 20 mil base, you're painting 100 by 40, which is where all of the thematics can come in. My dwarf armies, they're on rocks. They've got, they're on grey rocks, and they've got the leaves, and I've got dead figures on them and dogs on them. And I think there's so much character in there, and that I think you lose if you start having those pre-painted, and it just cuts one aspect of the hobby out. And the new ones make it bloody quick. In the olden days, you used to have to glue them. You can, the figures, you can just glue them straight on those ones we were looking at before. 8, 9, 10 figures, troop, done. I can put the hooks on the one in front with some blue tack, and then as a troop or as a regiment, or I can glue it up together. It's always going to be a regiment. Your call.
Let's see, elves right in the middle. We knew it was arrogance. I'm hoping Ratkin and dwarves in fracture.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, you're going to keep guessing. We're not going to confirm those up. We'll give. We'll lay out around Christmas time what book 2 is going to have in it, and we'll start sharing that out. And they're coming around.
I think the Baron takes care of faction dice, doesn't he? The Baron of Dice.
Yeah, so yeah. We gave him a license to go and sell some faction dice. So
Difficult, tricky question, but companion in future subscription only for quality of live features.
Okay,
I
let's
guess
read that thing up. You're about
quality
right
of
in the
life.
middle, and we knew it was arrogance. We knew it was arrogance. Yeah, of course. Maybe racking with dwarfs and fracture. I'd be no, no. The dwarfs aren't that close.
Mm.
Another big faction does give all fourth. At the moment, we've got Paradise doing those. But in future, subscription only for quality of life features. I think we'll pre out, or also part of the rules. So yeah, I mean, we try and make the subscription great value for money because we're storing your army lists on our servers, and you have all access to all of the living rule books all of the time, which you traditionally would pay for by buying a book.
Mhm.
And what we're trying to say is, if you don't want to buy a book, you don't have to buy a book. But if you want to play this game, you need to buy something. Particularly if you don't use our miniatures, which we don't like, but we accept. So if you're building, what you can't have is all of everything for free all of the time. We just can't afford to do that. We're a business; we need to pay people. So I don't know there, but most of what we try to do is make the quality of life features, the things that are involved in the app, and the things that you need to get started, free. So come and join us. Come and give it a try. Bring your army over. Here's some free army lists. Well, you can only get the army list for free. Here's some free rules. Give it a try. If you want to play it for real and you want magic items, you want all that stuff, buy the rule book or get a subscription.
The app is excellent. Sign up for Armada and never left.
But never left. Yeah, thank you. Great. And the joy with things like Vault now is, it's only a few quid more for a Vault, is that? But
Mhm.
once you've gone from one rule set to all, which is 2 or 3 quid more, $10, you've got them all, less than $10. Hey, I can go and buy an Armada fleet. I'm playing a new war game for $30. What? Yeah, I'm playing a new war game for $30.
Yep.
Well, there's no way you can do that.
Yeah.
There's just nowhere. And
Mhm.
people that had it on subscription, where they're getting it for $5 a month. I've had some dads coming up to me and said him and their son, they were always teaching on the edge of the Armada, but it was resin, it wasn't cheap with fleet. Suddenly, for £5 a month, they've got a subscription model going. They've got every fleet painted. They're lovely to paint. Painting ships is different than painting an army.
Right.
Different than painting units. Great fun. And a fiver a month, who cares? And then, you know what? Let's pay. Every 2 months, you've got a whole fleet. Over
Mhm.
12 months, they've got, 6 fleets. They've got terrain. They're having great fun with it. They're using their printer. Part of the hobby. And we're just really enjoying that. We've got, Epic is coming to my mini factory in a couple of weeks. We've
Ooh.
thought, right, Epic, brilliant game. What do we want? Lots of people playing it.
Mhm.
Okay, we've done the plastics. The backers, wow, they really supported us. We've got that. We've done that. We've got and even in the first campaign, we said, hey, if you want to print this stuff, we're very happy to not make it in resin and ship it off around the world. Do it yourself. So we thought, well, look, we've got all these assets. Okay, we're gonna have to give the plastics away, so we'll support our core guys. Let's get it on manufacturing while it's hot, while people are looking to join this game, while it's going global. If you're a printer, come and join us.
Right.
Come and play the official thing. You can bring that printed army to a tournament. You can take it down to your mates. Come and join us. And what's going to happen is, one guy in a group's going to go, I've got a printer. I'm going to go and buy that army. We're all going to play this. And then another guy's going to go, fine, well, I'm just going to go online, or I'm going to go down to a gaming store and I'm going to buy the plastics because I like working in plastics. And the printer will be like, I'll print it for you. I'll print it for you. And you go, no, I want to do it in plastic because it's much easier, much nicer. Bugger off with it in plastic. But what you're getting is people talking about Epic.
Right.
You're getting old, it's a grognard's game. It's a grown-up game. It's not a Halo. It's not for kids. It's not a quick get in, quick get in. It's a serious 4-hour war game, 2-hour war game.
Mhm.
Okay, well, come and join us. All right, USTL guys, come and join us.
Heck yeah. Any fun flavor bits for basing on the Zerk sprues?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know if there is. I think we've maximised the sculpt space. We do have a very fun thing coming in a couple of weeks' time for you, Zakali, which is if you have a particular type of dog,
Hmm.
we're going to give you 4
Hmm.
dog choice packs. So you can change out the heads and put your own dog
There you
head.
go.
and theme your own army, which I think is really great fun. So, we've got long-haired Pinscher lookings, bulldog lookings, and so if you want to go and have a real hobby thing, you can either get those on the vault. You can either buy some dog heads, buy the plastic, print them, or we're going to set up our print on demand at that point. So we're thinking people are going to have some real fun with that. So,
We need to do that with crocodiles,
yeah, exactly. Crocodiles. 12 mil faction dice. Okay, yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Those Baron dice are big. Way too many typos in today. Sorry, geez. I'm teasing you. The epic news is very epic. Yeah, watch that space. And we're really keen to just get people to come and try Mantic. I would say, what's the hardest Mantic product to buy? The first one.
Right.
Because you're like, I don't know, I might like it. So yeah, you might. It's like Dr. Pepper, Pepsi Challenge. Come and give us a try. We're making these stunningly fun games.
Right. And any faction-specific terrain in the future for Kings of War or Dead Zone, as you now have that in Halo. I think he's talking about a cardboard terrain too.
I would, if I was hinting about this earlier, I would watch this space very carefully in about 3 weeks' time.
There we go.
I've got a massive. We've been working on one of the very, very, very cool thing. I just didn't want it to get lost in the Kings of War 4th stories. But watch this space for Kings of War before the end of this year, and Dead Zone when we do the next edition, because we love what we're doing with the Halo terrain. Phoenix, great story. That's why I set Mantic up, so people can play with their family and with Armada, with Halo. Low model count. You can get in, you can play it, and you can play war games. And it's doable and manageable, and you get to play once a month. The rules don't change. You don't need to go out and buy something to keep playing it. We're trying to make it as fun and accessible as possible.
Excellent question here. Will my current master train the dwarves?
Definitely. They have to resist whenever they're fighting skeletons to go over and kind of nick a bone and change sides of the skeletons. So I'm sure they're tough enough that they can. The throwing mastiffs will not betray the dwarf. They are loyal. They are not joining the Zakali.
And Epic Champions and Kings of War 4th in the same year is really stressing my hobby budget. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it is. And truthfully, we wanted Epic about a few months out. Obviously, that was actually in February last year. It was a massive campaign. It was a big release. And now the Champions is kind of nice because it can kind of lead into your 4th. You can spread out that, try out a new army without going deep. But we're just trying to get to the point where we go, right, well, come join us. Which flavour do you want? And I think for those Mantic fans that love everything we do, I apologise, but stay in there and it might be you that we're talking to there, but yeah, we do have the spray pay over time thing on the website now. So if it's that, just spread it out a bit. It does feel a bit much in from our side, but that's just the way, with tariffs messing with things earlier in the year.
Yeah,
a couple of delays. It just all landed. But you know what? We thought, we'll get it out there. Then we've got the whole of next year to just keep growing it and growing the audience and bringing more people on.
And it will. I mean, this 4th edition release, everything down to the design of the books, bringing Alessio back, Matt writing the stories, some of them. And it's just the team you have is so great. The models are just beautiful, like warrior monks. Like I was blown away by even the werewolf rangers, it's just absolutely beautiful. And me playing champions a lot, I was playing 4th, didn't even know it, and I noticed one thing, the champions card have a type on them, and they say core and they say support, and it was right in front of me the whole time, really. But you read the cards and it says every friendly core unit, like on some of these special rules and traits. I love the cards. I love them. They give you everything you need, just like in the app. But I wanted to ask a couple rules questions that
I'm not very good on rules, but that's right, because I play it before it's been designed and after it's been designed, and I make things up. But okay, I'll try my best.
So round bases and command dice, right? No, I'm just kidding. As far as the reform order, reform as a new thing. I also wanted to ask you about the building lists and stuff like that, but is that change things a lot? Have you noticed by you playing, is the whole reform order make it better, quicker, faster?
It was making the
Sticky
combat
combat.
what it was a big piece of work, and it spent a lot of time going back and forth because there was a bit where Alessio and Matt were happy with it, but Kyle wasn't, and he said
Mm.
it's not. There's no advantage to doing these things, and then so they got the lapping round and the overlapping and everything else. So I think overall it behoves good play. It also behoves like when you're in it, you're in it. And if you think about what scraps were like in those days, I mean, but big blocks of units bash into each other. There is that, you've seen those scenes in Game of Thrones or in Lord of the Rings. There is that kind of war and attrition feel. But then you
Mhm.
can slam something else in, or you're holding them, get a flank attack in. It suddenly turns the tide and changes the battle. So, and at that point, you get to reset up, reshape up, and away you go. Um, I think everyone's going to take a game or two and then go, okay, I understand this and I know why they've done it and I like it more. But I think
Okay.
it's in the playing of it that you get the experience of why it's better. But I
Well,
think it definitively is better.
and me reading a lot of the comments in Facebook and in Reddit and stuff like that, that's been a big talk, is about that and the army building. I see with the new army building rules that I've seen with the updates, it reminds me, because I play firefight. It reminds me of how you build firefight. So
Yep.
I see you guys very smartly just wrapping all your games together, as far as like, okay, you understand this, you're going to
Something
understand
works
it.
really, really well. Why don't we copy that? If it's a methodology that is replicable, why wouldn't we use that? But at the
Right.
same time, we played Dead Zone style games with fantasy when we were looking at champions, and it didn't quite work. And there was another question about Vanguard earlier. We were
Oh
looking
yeah.
at a kind of Vanguard skirmish level game. Now, I'm not saying we couldn't make it work, but when we did it this time, it didn't. It
Mm.
didn't feel, because actually there's something about a sci-fi game where cubes work and you've got the height and you kind of, it's all about that. And what we were playing here was had some hype, but not. And anyway, so I think where it makes things better, slicker, easier, let's pull it together. If we built it once, can we reskin it? But where it detracts, then don't. And I think that's
Mm.
quite a hard thing to do. We're not slavish. If the army list building of Firefight had not worked, we wouldn't have done it. But we
Mhm.
actually looked at it and went, well, that's going to solve that, because we want our games to be built around troops and then cavalry and then cannons and then steel behemoths and dragons that change the profile, but they are the flavor, not the core of the meal.
Right, right. And I
Um,
like it. A lot of people freaked out about it, as you know, but hey, once they see
and
it.
when you do it, like on the Saturday night, the guys got together. I want one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. I
Mhm.
lost that. Go ahead, got it.
Right,
What it stops, and I'm unapologetic for this, is spam armies. I don't want to see them. I don't like seeing them. I don't think it's what we want Kings of War to be about.
right,
I want you to have an army that looks like an army. That's where the game's built. It's designed for, and you know, obviously, if you love that, and you and your playing partners go, you know what, have whatever you want, 3,000 points, whatever you want, do it. I
right,
mean, the whole point of our hobby is this is for tournament players to stop spam armies dominating the game, because I think it detracts. The game was built to be played with blocks of troops, and it's about getting
heroes.
your shape and your thing is, and using those in conjunction and your strengths and their weaknesses, mitigating your weaknesses. All of that was what it was all about.
Right.
So, we think it's a natty way of doing it, and a fun and an easy and a simplistic way. And like I said, if I can do it, anyone can. So
So
it
another
should
thing
make the game better.
I noticed about the whole army building thing, and I'm going to stop talking about it in a second here. So when I first looked at it, in third
Yeah.
edition or even in editions, I found it very confusing. This unlocks
Yeah,
this troop base. So the way you're doing it now is so much simpler that and it's more understandable because like I said, I play firefight, I play dead zone. You know, you can take this if you take this, and I just think it was very brilliant. And my next question is the whole model per base. You had a model per base, you know, you have to have a certain amount on your base. Is that still the same, or is that
yeah.
just
I,
fill the
mean,
base?
I think the we have a preferred model count, which is about
Right,
if you have 4 figures on a regiment base and they're human sized, and you're quickly looking in a scan line, you think that's a troop, and you miss. So when you've got 16 figures on it, it's very obviously a regiment. And so the only reason we even insist on this is 2 reasons. Ours is a visual hobby.
right,
People spend a lot of time building and painting their armies. We work on making the terrain nice. And it would be a hell of a lot easier if we were just playing with a piece of paper, but it doesn't. It's a stimulating visual hobby. That's kind of why we do it. We want to set ourselves in those worlds. That's why we take the time painting and building armies. So I think you owe it to your opponent to turn up and have made an effort, and you also owe it to your opponent to very quickly and very visually they can see what they're fighting against.
right.
And you know, a big pipe, 10 cavalry on a base, that's a pretty big, tough unit of cavalry. If it's 9, fine. When it's 4,
Right.
okay, that's kind of a weak cavalry unit. It's a light cavalry unit. It's not as many to worry about. So there's a very visual, important shorthand. Yeah, rule of cool. If you make it look cool, I mean, there's somewhere I've seen the zombies where there's 40 of them, but they are walking through a hedge and they've broken the fence down and they're going through. But you can see there's a bloody big horde. It's a big base size. Now, actually, zombies are only on about a third of it, but they look stunning. And very quickly, you can see there's the hedges, there's the tree. That's a big horde of zombies coming my way,
Right.
even though most of it's not coming with zombies.
I stick with
So
8.
we love a bit of preferred model count. We're also now really enjoying that they are not 20 mil bases and 10 of them on a base
Mhm.
in a troop. We're just going, the footprint of the base is 100 by 40.
Right.
So what are we putting on it? And that's why with the Zikali, we've got, an unusual number because there used to be 3s or 10s. Well, in actual
Mhm.
fact, there's 8 in a regiment
Right.
because
And
the
that's
wounds is a number, their nerve is a number, and everything else can work from there.
yeah, that's what I have on all the I have 8 on a troop base if they're troops. But that's my favorite part too is building these bases up like that. And you can actually add things to it to fill it as well, as long as you know what it is, of course. And
Yeah.
the thing around here is I get asked all the time, how many should be on base? How many should be on base? Make it look like what it's supposed to. And if you
Correct.
have
And that's the rule of cool. Make it look what it's supposed to,
right,
make it look cool.
right,
And if you put a tree there and they're all hanging up, great. If there's 7, but there's a tree or a big temple that's fallen down, the pillars around your Basilean troops, and there's one's
right,
got 8, that one's got 7, that one's got 9. They don't feel full. But great. Enjoy yourself. It's a hobby, But just bear in mind that the person you're playing has spent a lot of time painting their army. They want to see yours looking cool too. They want a
mhm,
cool battlefield. So a
yeah,
couple of questions I do need to head in a bit.
yeah.
Am I Ronnie Renton? No, I am. um, so I'm afraid so. Yeah, I'm afraid this is as good as it gets. D8s. Someone's proved statistically that D8s was not as good as D6s for all the outcomes. I think they missed my point. Anyway, I had to save something for 5th edition. Um, and yeah, down the line, you can brew up alternative competition rules. Absolutely. I think the great, you can have a lot of fun once you've got core armies. You can then, firstly, with thematic them. So if you take this hero, if you take Sverre as your dwarf hero, you
Mhm,
can take 2 Rock Rider units. So suddenly that champion who is good at this can take more of that, but you
right.
start excluding your ability to do other things, which I think is really good fun. And I think all tournament organizers can go, yeah, we can do this with it. We're summer campaigns, we can do different things.
Well, that's good news because I have 4 units of Brock Riders.
Yeah, very good.
So I need a champion who champions the Brock Riders. And they took a while to build, but they are
Yeah, I
awesome.
think you're building to a 10,000 point battle, Matt. That's what you're really working towards. That's why you need 4 units.
I mean, you can see right over here. This is in my Empire Dust Army right here, and it's about 10,000 points right here. So
you have to have a game with Blake. Come up to Adepticon and play Blake. He's got 2 25,000 point armies and 2 10,000 point armies.
Absolutely, that's what I like to do. I'm like you. I'm a narrative player. That's why Champions is so great.
Listen, guys, I need to go get some food. I'm driving down to Heathrow. I'm off to. I've got to pack. It's been a busy few days, but any final questions, and then I'll leave you to either carry on chatting or go and get some hobby time.
We're gonna stop it. How I got to go pick up my children from school. So
that's why I'm going to do that on you. So, else Thematic horse, we get some more exotic for them. Say something that's 4,000 of the original ones. Yeah, exactly the discussion we were having yesterday. Bizarrely, that's the joy of these things. It forces us to have these discussions early. I think elves shouldn't ride horses myself. I think they should be riding something else because I think they're elves, for goodness sake.
Stags.
But as to what it is yet, nothing decided. But yeah, we're going to push. The great thing is you can see that we've got more brave. When we first did second edition and we got all these people joining us, it was a scramble to get them some core armies, to get them army lists, the Uncharted Empires. We were backfilling. Third edition, Twilight Kin, Halflings with plastics. We started to get a bit more swagger. Night Stalkers, Northern Alliance came out of Vanguard, but were there. We started to get the hang of it. We're starting to come back and put in dwarfs flying on ravens with ice hand grenades and frogs on frogs with frogs. Yeah. So suddenly we're getting a bit more confident, and I think now we're in a place. Yeah, look at those, beautiful, aren't they? Now we're getting to the place that's right. Now we've got the basics. Let's really have some fun with these armies. Let's push it out there. Yeah, look
they're going to be painted soon.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. I've got one shoot left to do. I'll show you my. I'll go and get my bases. You can wrap up. We'll do final question, and then I'm gone. Ronnie Pants, the Southern Kin, you know. Yeah, we're kindred, Southern kindred.
We're about to see something special, folks. Yeah. If you guys have any other questions that you didn't get here live, or if you watch this later, put it in the comments below. I will get that over to Ronnie, and he'll answer it, or I'll answer it for him, or ask him that question for you guys. It's no problem. It's been an absolute pleasure for you guys hanging out with me. Bonehead, Kodos, Steven, who's this? Dwarven Darkness. I love that. Felix, thank you guys. I appreciate you coming on here and saying hello today. And there is Ronnie. He's going to show his beautiful bird. Look at that.
This was what I was trying to get, was the ice effect.
Awesome.
So can't quite see it. I've got some photographs. I don't know if I put them on.
Look at that.
What do you see?
You were messing with some resin, huh?
Yeah, there we go.
Beautiful. Those are so hard to get them all on the little base, aren't they?
2, 4, 6, 8.
8. Yeah.
One of the riders, and then
there he is. Now there's the painted one. Awesome.
So there we are. Good. So that was that. Thanks for coming on, everybody. Look after yourselves. I look forward to coming on with you, Mr. Bonehead Tabletop Fantasy, fairly soon. We're going to have some big reveal for you when we come on. I've got to have a big story to come out, but I don't know about not paint on me. So listen, look after yourselves, everybody. Glad you're excited about 4th.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I'll see you at a gaming event soon. Have a good one.
Ta-ta.